Good day to you and welcome to Cancer Watch, the public health program on cancer awareness brought to you by the Commod Cancer Foundation in partnership with ACON, proudly sponsored by Plus TV Africa. My name is Dr. B. Olutunde Olusegun. I'm the ACON representative and the program founder, Dr. Dennis Ejo, is not on the program today, and though we will miss her presence, the show must go on, mustn't it? Please remember that today's episode could be the conversation that saves a life, maybe even yours. And today we will be talking on the topic food for thought, the diet cancer connection. So we urge you to please share, follow, subscribe on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Let's get the message across and keep helping people get informed. And by so doing, let's save some lives. Now, if you have ever Googled about diet and cancer, you will find that there's so much information that can even be conflicting. People living with cancer who are already going through so much are inundated with do's and don'ts and have a lot to figure out about what to eat or otherwise in their journey to fight this dreaded disease. And as with all things topical, misinformation seems to be so much more believable than proper information. And so today we're going to try to separate the myths from the facts and bring you the truth so that you or your loved one can know exactly what helps, what doesn't, and what to do for your peace of mind as regarding diet and cancer. And with me to throw more light on this topical issue is a registered dietitian and nutritionist who holds a master's degree in nutrition and dietetics. She is a practicing nutritionist at the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital in Calabar, and as well is a visiting dietitian for the Asiupo Comprehensive Cancer Center, where she has to tackle a lot of questions from cancer patients and their relatives on the very issue we are discussing today. Welcome with me, everyone, Mrs. Silverline Matthew. Silverline, we're so happy to have you with us today.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here.
All right, great. Thank you. So we'll just go off right away. And Mrs. Matthew, with your experience, I'm sure that on a daily basis, you're having to deal with the issue of diet and cancer. Can you tell us if a relationship exists between the two? Can certain nutrients actually increase or decrease the risk of cancer?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. So when it has to do with diet and cancer, first of all, I like to start with diet. It's something that affects everyone. I like to say, first of all, the classification of living things. Nutrition is one of it. So if nutrition will affect every living thing, of course it should affect those managing cancer. And of course, it's related to cancer. As a matter of fact, WHO actually stated that high obesity rates, low consumption of fruits and vegetables, high intake of tobacco and alcohol all have links to increased mortality in cancer patients. So of course, that's enough evidence to show that diet deals with is related to cancer management. And for certain nutrients to increase or decrease the risk of having cancer, not causing cancer, that is the risk. Of course, there are. Like I mentioned, WHO said no intake of fruits and vegetables actually increase mortality rates. So yes, there are some nutrients that can affect our risk. For example, I don't know if I should give an example. I'm going ahead of myself, but for example, low intake, I will use the tobacco or the low fruits and vegetable intake. Our fruits and vegetables are packed with a lot of phytochemicals and antioxidants which help protect our cells. And we know cancer is a disease of the cells. So those foods actually help maintain our cells, build our immune system to prevent, the risk of cancer, not the cause of cancer. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So if I'm hearing you correctly, there is some association, but it doesn't look like we can actually say food causes cancer. We can say it increases the risk. I hear you very well, and I appreciate that. Thank you for letting us know that there is some association. But I mean, at some point in time, we're going to have to define how much of an association that there is. But as a clinician, as an oncologist, in the clinic, I'm always coming across a lot of dietary fads, specialized diets, and all whatnot. I don't know if you've heard about the diet called the white diet, where the patient eats only meals that are white, like pap and milk and rice. They avoid anything that is red. I've heard of the juicing diet, where you don't eat anything except juices that you make from high quality fruits and all whatnot, like they said. Are you aware of any of these diets? Have you been having to deal with some of them? And please tell us some of these fat diets. Are they helpful or are they actually harmful to patients?
Yes, I would. In course of my interactions with patients, cancer patients, I've heard about even the ones that are online, documented online, practically or by experience. I've heard about a lot of practices or different diets that cancer patients try to adhere to. First of all, I'd like to say that there is no proven cancer diet. There's nothing like a cancer diet. However, our patients indulge in juicing diets where they juice almost everything because probably they heard that fruits and vegetables are okay, so they just stay with juicing them and the like. So it's not a very advisable diet because it's not sustainable for a long time. While generally, when we juice meals for patients, we don't even use it for a long period. It's for a short period, just like what we call the simple or the clear fluid diet. So they don't hold enough nutrients to sustain the patient. So the patient can fall into malnutrition, their immune system, all of them are at risk. So even exposing the patients to more harm than good. And when patients restrict their meals to certain diets, like you mentioned the white diets, and some of them to like the alkaline diets and the likes. So most of those stuff can cause malnutrition for patients, making their bodies not to be able to accommodate treatment, extend treatment periods, and have poor outcomes. So there's no proven diet that is a cancer diet.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Silverline. Really very interesting how you're throwing a lot of light, and with your wealth of experience as a dietitian, I'm hoping that people listening to you will know that you have their best interest at heart and you are an authority in your field, and you should know, because it's amazing how much of an impact some of this misinformation have on our patients, and I'm just wondering, there's a critical thing that I hear on a regular basis. Sugar feeds cancer cells. So if you're taking sugar, your cancer is going to grow. If you want your cancer to starve, do not eat sugar in any form, whether it be the processed white sugar, the brown sugar, carbohydrate of any sort. In fact, I know patients who avoid sugar like a plague along with most carbohydrates. So what is the real truth based on research regarding this very important matter?
Okay, so this question is very critical for every cancer. In fact, it is a very big concern because a lot of patients ask this question. Some are practically starving because of this concern of sugar feeds cancer cells and the likes. So I like to explain it this way. So when we talk of sugars, we refer to glucose. The body uses the glucose. So these sugars are in different forms. So they are all our carbohydrates, But these carbohydrates, we have them as the simple sugars. We have the complex sugars. So every human being, everybody needs the sugar because it gives us energy. It helps our body, especially for the cancer patients. It helps their body accommodate treatment, go through treatment, be active, and it doesn't select the kind of cells that use it. We know that, okay, maybe the cancer cells, they are faster with the absorption, but it doesn't mean that everybody doesn't need the sugars. So they are the types of sugars that are better for cancer patients. So I explain it this way, that while the simple sugars are easily digestible, can cause inflammation and oxidative stress that can, increase the stresses with cancers. We have the complex sugars, those ones that are found in our natural foods, in our whole foods. So those ones can be broken down in the body. Gradually the process of digestion takes place, and it's better for everybody because we almost have whatever you eat. If you eat the complex sugar, if you eat the simple sugars, they all break down to sugar, and everybody needs sugar. So it's not something to be avoided. When we avoid sugar, we have all the fatigue. We have some patients even have some mental drain because of lack of sugar. Of course, even the brain uses the sugar. So we don't advise patients to stay off all carbohydrates. So we advise them to go for the better kind of the sugar, which is the complex sugars. I think that's a better explanation than
Yes, thank you, Silverline. And I do feel that, you really did hit the nail on the head, saying that you need glucose. Glucose is going to come from sugars that you take, and that even though you might want to decrease your ingestion of simple sugars, you definitely need glucose. And there's no way you're going to be able to keep up with your daily function. Your body does need glucose, it doesn't it? And therefore, you must take some of these things to just be able to function. Thank you so much. I think we're going to just go on a break right now, and then when we get back, we will continue with the program. Please don't go away. Thank you. Welcome back to Cancer Watch, and thank you for staying with us. Together we fight, and together we win. The conversation with Silverline Matthew, our dietitian, on the relationship between diet and cancer continues. Silverline, let me ask you very pointedly, are you aware of any diet that has been proven to cure cancer? Because a lot of patients believe they can simply eat the cancer away.
Okay, thank you very much for this question. Gives us the opportunity to reemphasize that there is no clinically proven diet that cures cancer.
Okay, that's very succinct directly. Thank you for telling us. There is no proven diet that can cure cancer. Straight to the point. Now, let me go with you to the issue of supplements, please, Silverline. The supplement industry, I believe, is $1 billion industry, and cancer patients are often advised, to get high value and oftentimes quite expensive supplements with the belief that these supplements will enhance their healing. Do the supplements actually work? Are patients being helped by focusing on high-value supplements to help them get rid of the cancer? Silverline.
Okay, so this question, thank you for this question, is actually a concern among cancer patients, and I like to answer questions practically. So most times when we have patients do a lot of supplements because they actually, like you said, believe that it will, do a lot of magic for them. And the concern is that most of the patients actually use these supplements as meal replacements. So supplements generally are meant to supplement the diet. not replace the diet. And from interactions with patients, I've seen or I've noticed that um, the outcomes are not really always good. Most times the patients are fatigued. There was actually an instance where the patient was experiencing a hypoglycemic effect from taking, one of those supplements. So in the best interest, I think most times when people take things, we are supposed to go for the benefits more than the detriment. So the detriment for most patients that we have seen is usually more than any um, benefit that they are hoping to get. So we do not, outrightly encourage patients to, do the whole supplement thing always. So we advise them most
Mhm.
times to always have their diets um, in check, because most times for those nutrients, those particular nutrients that they're actually targeting, if they obtain these nutrients directly from their meals, they don't get to that toxic level where they start having these other effects. So it's not something I personally like to promote amongst cancer patients.
Wow, okay. Thank you, Silverline. And I really appreciate the deft way in which you handled that. I mean, your food is most likely your best supplement in this case, which is what you're just saying. Eat a good meal, you're getting everything you can from supplements. It's not like supplements are bad, that's what you're saying, but they are not the cure all or fix all that most patients, I believe, they think that this does, especially when people are pandering to them the fact that you don't even need to take chemotherapy, you don't need to take radiotherapy. If you just use this supplement, this disease will go away. Have you heard that? And what would you say to someone who is fighting this conversation and wondering, maybe I am afraid of chemo, so let me just take supplements?
Okay, so just like we mentioned that there is no particular diet that cures cancer, and there is no one food that cures cancer. So that's the same way. There's no proven supplement that cures cancer or help cancer patients alleviate the symptoms of you know treatment. So we normally
Okay.
advise that having their healthy meals to keep them healthy, build their immune system to manage the side effect of treatments and the likes. Thank you.
Right. Okay. Right. Thank you so much. Do you, as a nutritionist working with cancer patients, what common nutritional challenges do these patients being treated for cancer go through? And in what way does nutrition affect cancer treatment outcomes? People always wonder how the nutrition affects the cancer outcome. I know you made mention of being able to fight cancer better, but please can you just throw more light on common nutritional challenges and what the outcome of nutrition is on treatment?
Okay, for the nutrition challenges, the number one of it is malnutrition. And malnutrition comes with a lot of other side effects of treatments, like their low appetite that affects their intake. So most of them have inadequate intake, oral intake that can cause malnutrition. So we also have loss of appetite we've encountered loss of appetite among patients, difficulty chewing or difficulty swallowing, all of which still boils down to malnutrition. So malnutrition, I would say, is like a compound word for the other things that happen with cancer patients. So most times they also have things like diarrhea or constipation, differences or alterations in their taste, and some experience nausea and vomiting, and some of the other fatigue, the unattended weight loss. And how nutrition affects cancer outcome. Of course, nutrition affects cancer outcome in that, of course, when there's malnutrition, most patients are fatigued. Most patients treatment are delayed because they have to, build up their system to be able to, accommodate treatments. They also, so nutrition provides the right um, combination of nutrients that strengthens their immune system, gives them, promotes a better outcome and the likes. So nutrition is very important for every cancer patient to, adhere to.
Thank you so much. I just know that someone is listening and definitely benefiting from this. It's important to eat well even while you're taking your treatment so that the outcome of treatment can be better and you can avoid fatigue. So what should practically what should the cancer patients eat when they are undergoing their therapy? What kind of meals are they allowed to have? What advice would you give addressing common issues that arise? What advice would you give to cancer patients to optimize their diet during treatments, Silverline?
Okay, so during treatment, first of all, I will advise cancer patients to seek nutrition education. Most times, or most of them, when we have nutrition education, it's not because they don't know what to do. Most times they just need the reassurance that this is what I should do. So when they have sought this nutrition education and counseling, so they shouldn't miss their sessions when it's time to talk about nutrition. And then they can also use the adequate diets, which I like to describe in a way that everybody will understand, using a healthy plate model. It is a plate where you have to divide your plate into 4. So you have the carbohydrate in a quarter of the plate, you have the protein in a quarter of the plate, you have the fruits and the vegetables in the other quarter of the plate. So you have a lot of all these nutrients in the right proportion. So when you get them, when they are gotten in those proportions, we have little chances of over or under or nutrient imbalance. So we promote adequate diet. An adequate diet is supposed to be more like a precision diet for each individual. Is supposed to fit their activity level, fit their gender, their age, and the like. So individualized, adequate diet.
Right. So eat good meals, eat good meals, eat good meals, and make sure that you have a lot of vegetables, but you can still take your carbs and protein. Now, quickly, can you just tell me, can people who are treating cancer eat meat, fish, chicken? These are questions they ask a lot of. What's your opinion?
Fish and meat are part of the protein sources that cancer patients can enjoy. So cancer patients should enjoy their meals without overly restricting themselves. However, we like to promote that they should make their plates 2/3 of their plates from plant sources of food. That means there are options for animal sources of food like the meat and the fish. So in as much as they have the meat will have the saturated fats, which we are concerned about, we try to teach them to eat the lean meats and to eat the fish and other seafoods. So we take care of the saturated part of the fats for them, and then they can enjoy their meals. They have more of the protein. This fish and meat, we call them like the complete protein, like the first class protein. So what makes protein is abundance in them. So of course, cancer patients can enjoy them as part of their meals.
Right. Thank you so much. So, in final words from you to someone who is watching this and still wouldn't accept that, how can you say you can't stop cancer cells by avoiding sugar? How can you say that diet cannot replace medical treatment? What are your final words as we close on the relationship between diet and cancer?
Okay, so I would like to reiterate that nutrition or food alone does not cure cancer. So it can help us achieve intake of a healthy diet that is necessary for balanced health and good health. And nutrition is part of the management of cancer for holistic care. So it works with the medicine. So the other treatments they are giving to cancer patients. So it should not be ignored. However, we don't have any cancer diets, and we promote adequate diets in conjunction with good physical, like other lifestyle and practices, good lifestyle practices like good physical activity, adequate sleep, and the likes. So we promote healthy, as in balanced, adequate diets, and we encourage cancer patients to enjoy their meals. So not to just eat like we're eating because of cancer, because most times they tend to, we're expecting a lifestyle modification, not something that you do for the meantime and then you go back to, eating a certain other way. So we encourage that, and we're trusting that if there are challenges like we mentioned, nutrition challenges with treatment, or like say treatment side effects, we advise that the texture of the meals, the consistency of the meals can be altered to ensure adequate intake. So we have ruled out, or we have explained that fat diets like the juicing diet are not the best for us. So as much as possible, I advise every cancer patient to eat and enjoy their meals whole. If there's issues with chewing, they can make their meals softer. And if there's still issue with swallowing, they can, have their meals as blenderized meals. And we're trusting that they will get the best outcome. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much, Silverline. You have been so massively helpful. And dear viewers, today we have tried our best to demystify some misconceptions about diet and cancer. It's a big issue, and each patient and their family is always trying so hard to do their best to aid recovery from cancer. And Mrs. Matthew has helped us to understand a few facts. First of all, you are what you eat. Whilst a good exercise life and diet are associated with reducing the risk of cancer, there is no evidence that diet itself is a cause of cancer, but is described as a risk factor that may promote development of cancer. Secondly, there may be benefits to dieting, but dieting itself will not completely prevent cancer and will not itself cure cancer when it has happened without the appropriate medical treatment. There is also, thirdly, no evidence to support the claims that sugar or carbohydrates feed cancer cells and that avoiding them will starve cancer cells. This is not to say cutting back on processed sugar is bad, but there are benefits to that, but it will definitely not cure cancer. And finally, it's best to get your information from a qualified personnel like your dietitian, your doctor, or your nurse. The internet is awash with a lot of misinformation that, while sounding well researched and convincing, may end up causing more harm than good. And so please be careful what you believe and make sure you clarify any so-called facts. I would like to thank our guest, Mrs. Silverline Matthews, who is a professional dietitian, for a most interesting and educative discussion. Thank you, Silverline, for being a part of our program.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you indeed. So let's keep this conversation going in our homes and schools and communities. The more we talk about it, the more lives we'll save. Until next time, please speak up, check yourself, and stay informed. So we'll see you again next week, same time. Thank you for being